14.5 wins is what the Hawthorn over-under line is, courtesy of Sportsbet. Not a sponsor, but that's the number. If it's different on a different gambling platform, that's fine. I'm just going off the one that I have seen. And I thought we would dissect the fixture and figure out just how good this range is. I mean, the Hawks won 15 games last year. Surely it would be a similar trajectory, right? Well, let's find out. I'm going to break it down in sort of 3-game blocks to try not to get too nitpicky with where the wins and losses will come from, and we'll make a decision at the end. How many games do you think the Hawks are going to win this year? And 23 is unfortunately not a realistic answer. Let's talk about it. So we begin in opening round. GWS, Essendon, the Swans, 2 games at the MCG, which is awesome. I think 2-1 is the most realistic option here. 0-3 would be an unmitigated disaster. 1-2, I would be concerned. I really would. I think 2-1 is the most realistic. In my heart of hearts, though, 3-0 is still definitely on the cards. The Swans at the G, I think, could suit us. The Giants, I know that we beat them in the final, but I'm just off the Giants, not in an unrealistic way, but I did a video on them on Daz Talks Footy that no one has watched, but that's all right. And I just think that without the ball, we can expose them better than a lot of other sides can. But I think 2-1 is the most realistic here, and I'm not saying this. Well, actually, this is the Hawks channel. I can say this. Essendon are not beating us. And if they do, well, I'm in trouble, but I don't think they're going to beat us at all. So I think 2-1's a good start. We then have the bye because, why wouldn't you? The Cats, the Dogs, and the Power, I think at least 1 again. I would love 2. I think 3-3 at this point of the season. Again, I might be feeling a fraction disappointed here. I think 4-2 would be, 5-1, 6-0 would be incredible. I'm not going to deny that for a moment, duh. But I think 4-2 is reasonably realistic here. If, say, would it be a shock if we dropped the Swans and the Cats back to back, but we got a hold of the Dogs and we beat Port? I think this game's in Tassie. I could be wrong on that. Oh, it's at Marvel. They've got a good record at Marvel, but, we're better. So I think 4-2 is probably where I'm going to sit here. 3-3, I would have to know how we lost in order to determine how disappointed I would be. Anything worse than 3-3, again, would suck. 5-1 would be incredible. 6-0, again, not impossible. I just think extremely unlikely. And as biased as I like this channel being, I still need to stay true to what I, think internally. But 4-2, I think, is the most realistic one here. Instinctually, that's what's jumping out at me. The Suns, the Pies, and the Dockers. This is a kind of a batshit first group of games. Launceston for the Suns. That's good for us. It really is, because Darwin, remember, they got us. I know Lloyd Meek didn't play that game. A couple of others didn't play, I don't think, either. And we nearly got them in the end, but Launceston is the one place I would want to play the Suns, to be honest. The Pies, depending on how you feel about the Pies, the Dockers here, this could be 1-2. It really could be. We could be looking at 5-4 here. 6-3 again would be nice. Honestly, I think with how 50-50 a few of these games have been, I feel like the most realistic answer here is 5-4. Freo over there is tough. Really tough. Again, Gold Coast, I would probably favour us a little bit because of the location. I think we'd be favourites against the Pies. But something inside me is nagging at 5-4, 6-3. We're around that mark. I'll call it 5.5 wins at this point. But I'm sort of in between 5-4, 6-3. Melbourne is a win. The Crows, you'd like to think in Tassie, but you never know. We could split those Tassie games. I see that as realistic. The Saints would definitely be a win here. So that means we're either at 7-5 or 8-4. Having a read through, I'm actually leaning now more towards 8-4 at this point. I feel like that Crows could be a win. 8-4 is feeling really good to me right now. It's feeling really nice at this point. But 7-5, 8-4, again, you're looking at that 7.5 there to split the difference. But yeah, Melbourne, St Kilda, I don't suspect. Again, going into the year, things can change, opinions can change, absolutely. But going in vibe-wise, if we are at 80% of our best against the Ds and 90 against the Saints, I don't think they're beating us, to be honest. And then, yeah, like I said, the Crows, that could be split with the Suns game. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I think that we're at a pretty damn good place between 7 and 8 wins here at this point. The Bulldogs again, geez, that's early, and then the Suns again. I think splitting them, I think we can get the Dogs at the G. I think the Suns up there is going to be really, really tough. So you're looking at in between 8 and 9 wins now. And then the Giants, again, that would be at the G. I, again, still think that we can get the Giants. I'm more confident at the G than I would be at NG Stadium, particularly because it is opening rounds. Absolutely. I can see us splitting the Gold Coast games. Absolutely. And then the Bulldogs, I think we can go 2 and zip against, to be honest. And then, yeah, the Giants. So what would that make that? 2 and 1 here would put us anywhere between 9 and 10 wins. So 9 and 6 or 10 and 5. So the line right now looks really damn good. Really damn good. From a vibes perspective, absolutely. But between 9 and 10, this fixture is harder than I thought it was. I can't remember where we rank, but this is okay. We've got some challenge here. We beat Melbourne. We beat Melbourne. We beat Carlton. Utah's against Melbourne is interesting. We beat Carlton, so we're 11 to 12 wins at this point. We beat Richmond 12 to 13. We beat Essendon 13 to 14. Oh, this is a nice end to the year, by the way. North, I can't even remember where I'm up to now. 13 to 14, I think. And Brisbane over there, that's going to be tough. I'll say we lose that one. So we're still around 13 to 14, I think. And then Collingwood and West Coast, I think 2 and 0 there would take us 15 to 16. So the 14 and a half is a really good number. My instincts say over. They really do. But if I did this on pure vibe, pure location, so instead of the block, let's now sort of do it more 1 by 1. I'd go 1 win, 2 win. So both of those. Brisbane, no. North, yes, 3 and 1, 4 and 1 Bombers, 5 and 1 Tigers, 6 and 1 Carlton. Jeez, this is going to be a good end of the year. 7 and 1. There you go. We're going to go 7 and 1 in the last 2 months of footy. That's going to be nice. 7 and 1. At the G against the Giants is 8 and 1. Gold Coast up there, so we'll go 8 and 2. 9 and 2 for the Bulldogs. 10 and 2 for the Saints. I'll say 11 and 2 for the Crows. Geez, that's tough. 12 and 2 for Melbourne. 12 and 3 for Freo. 13 and 3 for Collingwood. 14 and 3 for the Suns. 15 and 3 for Port. 16 and 3. 16 and 4. Could be 16 and 5. I mean, now I'm up to 17 somehow. So that's, again, the difference between blocking games and then individual ones. So that was the point that I was making in the intro of the video. If you try to do it individually, I think the bias can take over. As blocks, though, that 14.5 looks really good. But even with a tough start to the year, and of course health is going to be a determining factor, I'm taking the over here, and I would be expecting, again, it's going to rely on a pretty soft finish to the year, again, if you believe that last year's going to carry over. But even if we split with the Bulldogs and we split with the Giants, then you're still anywhere between that 14 and 16 mark. So the line is awesome. I still think over. I still think 15 and 16 is around the mark. That start of the fixture is pretty damn tough. Nice finish, though. And this is why gambling is bad, because the lines are really good. And even though this is a spoiler, for the Hawthorn part of my over-under video on Daz Talks Footy, I would still appreciate you checking that out when it releases. It's not coming out for probably another week or week and a half because I have other videos lined up first over there. But hey, full Hawks chat. Hopefully that's what you guys enjoy. Thank you very much for watching. Fingers crossed the Hawks are in the top 6 so we don't have to worry about any of the wild card nonsense. And I'll see you in the next one. Make sure you subscribe, like the video if you like the video. See you later.